The original MacGyver series, which aired from 1985 to 1992, became a television classic thanks to its gripping storylines, ingenious problem-solving, and a cast of unforgettable characters. Behind the action and adventure, the show was carried by a group of talented actors who brought heart and depth to their roles. Sadly, over the years, some of these beloved stars have passed away, some suddenly, others after long battles with illness. In this video, we look back at the lives and careers of the MacGyver actors we've lost, remembering their contributions to the show and the tragic circumstances surrounding their deaths. Dana Elkar was born on October 10, 1927, and played Pete Thornton, MacGyver's loyal friend and director of operations at the Phoenix Foundation, beginning in 1985 when he was 58. Pete was the quintessential steady hand, embodying wisdom, integrity, and a deep sense of justice that often grounded MacGyver's impulsive brilliance. Yet behind Elkar's dignified screen presence lay a harrowing private battle. Around 1991, he began losing his eyesight to glaucoma, a condition painfully woven into his character's storyline. This real-life blindness led to increasing isolation and bouts of depression that Elkar never publicly detailed. Despite his professionalism, rumors circulated about strained relations with producers who were reluctant to fully accommodate his disability on set, forcing Elkar into a precarious position professionally and personally. His private life was quiet but lonely. He never remarried after a failed marriage early in life, and friends noted his growing withdrawal. Dana Elkar died on June 6, 2005, at age 77 due to pneumonia complications. Gregory Sierra was born on January 25, 1937, and appeared as Captain Diaz in MacGyver's first season in 1985 at age 48. Diaz was a hard-nosed, authoritarian figure who frequently clashed with MacGyver's rebellious spirit. Sierra's intense, commanding screen presence reflected his off-screen persona, fiercely outspoken and often difficult to work with. He was known for resisting Hollywood's stereotypical casting of Latino actors, openly criticizing producers and demanding more substantive roles, which alienated some industry insiders. Behind the scenes, rumors circulated that Sierra was manipulative, using contract disputes and threats to quit as leverage to control his projects. His personal life was no less contentious, marked by multiple public battles over alimony, child support, and accusations of emotional abuse from former partners. These scandals, while never fully aired publicly, tainted his reputation. Sierra passed away from cancer on January 4, 2021, at age 83, remembered as a talented actor whose fiery spirit both propelled and complicated his career. John Anderson was born on October 20, 1922, and portrayed Harry Jackson, MacGyver's nurturing but stern grandfather, starting in 1985 at age 63. Harry served as a grounding force in the series, offering old-world wisdom and emotional support, balancing MacGyver's youthful idealism. Off-camera, however, Anderson's life was rife with personal turmoil rarely discussed publicly. Behind his respected professional demeanor was a long battle with alcoholism that reportedly damaged his family life and contributed to a bitter divorce marked by allegations of neglect and verbal aggression. On set, colleagues whispered about his unreliability and temperamental outbursts, including incidents of tardiness and clashes with directors, which tarnished his otherwise solid reputation. The actor's struggles with health issues and personal demons were largely hidden from fans until his sudden death from a heart attack on August 7, 1992, at 69. His death left behind unresolved tensions and a complicated legacy contrasting sharply with the warm grandfather figure he portrayed. Dick Buckus was born on December 9, 1942, and played Earl Dent, the tough but good-hearted former boxer, starting in 1990 at age 48. Famous for his ferocious NFL career, Buckus brought an intimidating physicality to the screen, yet off-screen his life was fraught with volatility. While he maintained a mostly clean public image, insiders revealed a pattern of aggressive behavior, including frequent outbursts on set and confrontations with co-stars and crew members. His personal life was turbulent, with a high-profile, acrimonious divorce filled with allegations of infidelity, emotional abuse, and custody disputes. Buckus struggled to transition from sports to acting, often clashing with Hollywood's expectations and controlling his roles obsessively. Later in life, he became an outspoken advocate for player safety, a cause tinged with bitterness over his own health decline. Buckus died on October 5, 2023, at age 80, leaving a complex legacy of toughness, controversy, and resilience. Robert Donner was born on April 27, 1931, and joined MacGyver in 1987 at age 56 as Milt Bozer, the quirky and often comic character who brought levity to the series. While Donner's on-screen persona was jovial and eccentric, his private life told a far more troubled story. He struggled with a volatile temper and a deep-seated gambling addiction that led to financial ruin and fractured friendships. Multiple marriages ended in acrimony, with reports of substance abuse and erratic behavior further complicating his personal life. Donner's penchant for off-color jokes and inappropriate remarks made him a difficult presence behind the scenes, with some cast members accusing him of creating tension and being unreliable during shoots. His professional career, though marked by notable performances, was overshadowed by these repeated scandals and personal battles. Donner died from a heart attack on June 8, 2006, at 75, leaving a legacy as a gifted but self-destructive figure in Hollywood shadows. Herb Edelman was born on November 5, 1933, and took on the role of Gorman in MacGyver in 1990 at 57. Gorman's stiff, bureaucratic persona mirrored Edelman's real-life struggles with authority and personal demons. His public image as a beloved comedic actor masked a darker reality. He battled a long-term addiction to prescription drugs that fueled erratic outbursts and near breakdowns. Rumors circulated of backstage meltdowns and confrontations with directors, which many industry insiders quietly blamed for the gradual fading of his career. Married multiple times, Edelman's relationships were notoriously tumultuous, including a scandalous affair exposed by the tabloids that fractured his family life. Health issues loomed, worsened by his substance abuse, and he was often seen as a tragic figure who couldn't escape his own self-destructive patterns. Herb Edelman passed away on July 21, 1996, aged 62, from emphysema, his final years haunted by his private battles. Joe Santos was born on June 9, 1931, and played Jimmy the Eraser Kendall in MacGyver in 1986 at 55. Santos's gritty, tough guy roles masked a tempestuous personal life rife with conflict. Known for his gruffness, he reportedly had explosive clashes with producers and cast members, with some alleging he used intimidation tactics on set. His personal relationships mirrored this volatility. Marriages fraught with infidelity rumors and bitter divorces played out in tabloid gossip columns. Behind closed doors, Santos struggled with chronic heart problems exacerbated by a lifetime of heavy smoking and drinking, habits that fueled his quick temper and erratic mood swings. Despite his reputation for professionalism, whispers of substance abuse and a domineering personality shadowed his later years. Joe Santos died on March 18, 2016, aged 84, from a heart attack, his off-screen battles largely hidden from the public eye. Tim Rosvich was born on March 14, 1946, and played Mike Desmond in MacGyver in 1986 at age 40. His character's ruggedness echoed Rosvich's real-life wild streak, notorious for excess and recklessness. Behind the charm was a man tormented by the fallout of his past. His fame as an NFL player-turned-actor was marred by a devastating gambling addiction that drained his fortune and alienated close friends. Known for a shocking party stunt where he set himself on fire, Rosvich's risk-taking was both a thrill-seeker's hallmark and a cry for help. His personal life was a carousel of failed marriages and bitter public divorces, with scandalous custody battles and estranged children. Reports from co-stars painted him as difficult and temperamental, his alcohol abuse further complicating professional collaborations. His final years were plagued by respiratory illness, a cruel echo of a life lived on the edge. Tim Rosvich died on December 6, 2018, aged 72, from respiratory arrest. Richard Romanus was born on February 8, 1943, and appeared as James Crow in MacGyver in 1985 at 42. His character's morally ambiguous intensity was a mirror to his own complicated personal narrative. Romanus's polished public persona concealed a string of turbulent relationships and whispered allegations of manipulation within the industry. After relocating to Greece, he distanced himself from Hollywood scandals, but not before rumors of backstage feuds and professional jealousy stained his reputation. Known for intellectual depth, he struggled privately with bouts of depression and isolation, aggravated by the collapse of his marriages and a near-fatal accident that left lasting scars. Despite no public scandals, insiders hinted at a man wrestling with inner demons and shadowy past mistakes. Richard Romanus passed away on December 23, 2023, aged 80, leaving behind a legacy wrapped in enigmatic silence. Michael Constantine was born on May 22, 1927, and appeared as Inspector Jan Messick in MacGyver in 1985 at 58. Messick was the epitome of rigid discipline and old-world ethics, providing a stern counterbalance to MacGyver's improvisational genius. Constantine enjoyed a celebrated career, yet his personal life was riddled with turmoil. A highly public and acrimonious divorce revealed deep fractures within his family, culminating in long-term estrangement from his children. Known among cast and crew for his brooding intensity and controlling tendencies, he frequently clashed with directors and co-stars, creating a tense atmosphere on set. Rumors abounded about his manipulative behavior and attempts to sabotage rivals, contributing to a gradual decline in roles as Hollywood distanced itself from his volatile reputation. His otherwise admirable dedication to his Greek heritage and craft could not shield him from the shadow of his personal demons. Michael Constantine passed away on August 31, 2021, at 94, leaving behind a legacy complicated by scandal and private pain. William Morgan Shepard was born on August 24, 1932, and played Dr. Zito in MacGyver in 1989 at 57. Dr. Zito was a chilling, calculating villain, reflecting Shepard's own intense, sometimes ruthless personality. Known for his theatrical flair, Shepard was also infamous behind the scenes for his caustic critiques and toxic behavior toward colleagues, leading to fraught relationships and a reputation for being difficult to work with. He battled long-standing issues with alcohol, which impaired his punctuality and reliability, complicating an otherwise illustrious career. Insiders revealed his penchant for manipulating younger actors, fostering rivalries, and maintaining control on set through intimidation. While he never faced public scandal, industry whispers painted a portrait of a man whose brilliance was shadowed by personal excess and cruelty. Shepard died on January 6, 2019, aged 86, remembered as much for his talent as for his darker side. Walter Gotel was born on March 15, 1924, and portrayed General Bernov in MacGyver in 1987 at 63. Bernov, a ruthless Soviet general, was perfectly embodied by Gotel, whose icy demeanor became his trademark. However, beneath this cold exterior lurked a man struggling with serious personal demons. Gotel was notorious for his heavy alcohol consumption and explosive temper, especially during high-pressure shoots of the James Bond series, which nearly cost him his career multiple times. A discreet yet damaging scandal involved a lawsuit filed by a stuntman alleging physical mistreatment during filming. The case was quietly settled but cast a long shadow on his professionalism. His private life was marked by instability, including multiple failed marriages and rumors of infidelity, which sparked quiet gossip in European acting circles. Gotel's death from cancer on May 5, 1997, at 73 closed the chapter on a career as controversial as it was acclaimed. Cleven Little was born on June 1, 1939, and portrayed Frank Colton in MacGyver in 1989 at age 50. Frank Colton was a charismatic, sharp-witted character whose unwavering sense of justice and resourcefulness made him a standout ally to MacGyver. Despite his professional acclaim, he battled chronic health problems alongside a destructive addiction to alcohol that fueled erratic and sometimes volatile behavior. His marriage ended disastrously in a highly publicized and bitter divorce, with tabloid rumors swirling around infidelity allegations and explosive arguments that spilled onto film sets, straining relationships with co-stars and crew. Friends and insiders whispered about his deep-seated depression, which sometimes manifested in unpredictable outbursts and self-sabotage, threatening his career just as it was flourishing. Colleagues noted his increasing isolation in his final years, as his personal demons gradually eclipsed his professional achievements. Cleven Little's life was tragically cut short when he succumbed to colon cancer on October 22, 1992, at the age of 53. Henry Gibson was born on September 21, 1935, and played a minor role in MacGyver at age 55 in 1990. Famous for his quirky and poetic comedic style on shows like Laugh In, Gibson's off-screen persona was a complex mixture of charm and volatility. Industry insiders recount his erratic behavior, fueled by long-term alcoholism and bouts of severe depression that often disrupted productions. Gibson's penchant for mood swings led to several well-documented conflicts with directors and co-stars, some accusing him of sabotage driven by jealousy over more prominent roles. His personal life was riddled with scandalous affairs and betrayals, culminating in a bitter separation from his wife amid allegations of infidelity and neglect. Gibson's children reportedly cut ties, citing emotional abandonment. Though publicly beloved for his wit and originality, privately he grappled with loneliness and a fragile mental state. He died on September 14, 2009, aged 73, from cancer, his final years marked by a quiet but tragic decline away from the spotlight. Larry D. Mann was born on December 18, 1922, and played Captain Ion Cuso in MacGyver in 1985 at 63. As Captain Cuso, Mann portrayed a gruff, skeptical military man who often clashed with MacGyver's unconventional tactics, embodying discipline and tradition. But behind this stern on-screen persona lay a life more fractured and complicated than most knew. His personal relationships were tumultuous, characterized by a painful estrangement from his children, which some sources attribute to his volatile temper and bouts of heavy drinking. Close associates described Mann as a man haunted by regret and loneliness, battling alcoholism that exacerbated mood swings and occasional bitterness, making him difficult even for longtime friends to reach. Though he maintained a publicly warm and professional demeanor, whispers of bitter disputes with colleagues and industry insiders occasionally surfaced, painting a picture of a man struggling with internal demons. In his twilight years, declining health and isolation shadowed his final days. Larry D. Mann passed away on January 6, 2014, at the age of 91. Leslie Carlson, born February 24, 1933, appeared as a composed doctor in MacGyver in 1989 at age 56, embodying his signature cool, intellectual persona. However, beneath this polished exterior lurked a man entangled in professional controversies and personal turmoil. Once a respected figure in Canadian theatre and film, Carlson's career was marred by rumors of verbal abuse and on-set bullying, leading to his near exclusion from key productions in the 1990s. His private life was equally volatile. Thrice married, his last marriage ended amidst explosive allegations of infidelity and emotional abuse. His children publicly distanced themselves, citing his coldness and domineering nature. Struggling with untreated depression and chronic anxiety, Carlson became increasingly reclusive in his later years, with close associates describing him as bitter and paranoid. His death on May 3, 2014, at 81 from cancer brought an end to a life shadowed by whispered scandals and fractured relationships, contrasting starkly with the calm, authoritative roles he portrayed. Martin Milner was born on December 28, 1931, and played James MacGyver, MacGyver's father, in a 1988 episode when he was 57. His character brought a rare glimpse of vulnerability and wisdom to the otherwise action-packed series, offering emotional closure in a dream sequence. Despite Milner's seemingly spotless public image, behind the scenes he battled deep frustrations with typecasting after his Route 66 fame faded. Rumors circulated in Hollywood about tense on-set clashes during his later career, particularly when he struggled to find roles that matched his early success. Milner's personal life was marked by a painful divorce and a long estrangement from his only daughter, who publicly criticized him years later for emotional neglect. Close friends revealed his growing dependence on alcohol as a coping mechanism, which he fiercely denied but contributed to his retreat from acting. He died on September 6, 2015, at age 83, from complications related to heart disease, closing a chapter shadowed by personal battles few fans ever knew. Lance Legault was born May 2, 1935, and at age 52 played Bull Bodine in MacGyver in 1987. His on-screen toughness reflected a real-life man battling inner demons. Friends and colleagues frequently spoke of his notorious temper and abrasive behavior, which often led to conflicts on set and alienated directors. Legault was known to struggle with severe alcoholism, which compounded his unpredictable moods and contributed to unreliable professional conduct. His personal life was plagued by multiple failed marriages, some ending amid accusations of domestic violence and emotional manipulation. Behind the commanding presence was a man wrestling with loneliness, depression, and regret over damaged relationships. Despite these challenges, Legault maintained a loyal fan base who admired his intensity. He died on September 10, 2012, aged 77, from heart failure, closing a chapter of talent deeply intertwined with turmoil and unresolved pain. Walter Marsh was born on March 20, 1923, and portrayed General Rakubian in MacGyver in 1987 at age 64. His character embodied the cold, unyielding military archetype, symbolizing the shadowy paranoia of the Cold War era. Behind the scenes, Marsh's once promising career was marred by a bitter feud with Canadian directors who accused him of arrogance and inflexibility, leading to blacklisting in the late 1980s. Off-camera, his personal life was a labyrinth of failed marriages, each dissolving amid accusations of emotional abuse and controlling behavior. One of his sons reportedly severed contact after a harsh confrontation involving Marsh's alcoholism, a secret battle that fueled rumors of erratic on-set conduct. He suffered the loss of his younger brother in a suspicious car accident in 1989, a trauma that deepened his reclusive tendencies. Despite the respect he commanded, whispers persisted about his volatile temper and heavy drinking, which cast a shadow over his final years. Walter Marsh died on September 17, 2005, at age 82 from undisclosed causes. Alan Fudge was born on February 27, 1944, and portrayed J. Michaels in MacGyver in 1986 at 42. His composed, professional character often hid a volatile and scandal-ridden personal life. Fudge's career faced setbacks after reports emerged of his manipulative and bullying behavior toward younger actors, which damaged his standing in the industry. His private life was no less tumultuous, marred by a messy divorce fraught with accusations of infidelity and substance abuse. He battled a cocaine addiction that led to public incidents and multiple rehab stays. Industry insiders described him as prone to heavy drinking and erratic outbursts at parties, which alienated many colleagues. In his final years, lung and liver cancer, likely exacerbated by decades of smoking and drinking, ended his life prematurely. Alan Fudge died on October 10, 2011, at age 67, leaving a complicated legacy of talent undermined by personal demons. Milton Selzer was born on October 25, 1918, and took on the role of Izzy in MacGyver in 1990 at age 72. His quirky, streetwise character provided comic relief but masked a troubled life marked by professional decline and personal isolation. Selzer was notorious for being difficult on set, frequently clashing with directors and cast, which contributed to his slow disappearance from prominent roles by the late 1980s. He suffered estrangement from his only child, who accused him of emotional neglect and coldness. Privately, Selzer battled chronic depression and was rumored to have survived a suicide attempt during the 1970s, details that remained carefully guarded. Friends reported his heavy drinking worsened over the years, compounded by a compulsive gambling habit that drained his savings and left him financially insecure. Though rarely publicized, these struggles cast a shadow over the last decades of his life. Milton Selzer died on October 21, 2006, from complications related to stroke and pulmonary disease, just shy of his 88th birthday. Sid Hay was born on July 14, 1939, and portrayed Khalil in MacGyver in 1985 at 46. Known for intense villainous roles, Haig's off-screen life was equally dramatic and controversial. Throughout his career, he was repeatedly accused by coworkers and fans of inappropriate behavior and sexual misconduct, allegations that never resulted in formal charges but tainted his reputation. His hard-partying lifestyle, with heavy alcohol and drug use, frequently led to clashes with directors and cast members, earning him a reputation as a loose cannon. His public persona as a horror icon masked deep personal isolation and turmoil. A bitter, well-publicized feud with a former co-star escalated into legal battles that divided the cult horror community. Despite this, Haig maintained a devoted fan base through frequent appearances at conventions, where his erratic behavior sometimes unsettled attendees. Sid Hay died on September 21, 2019, aged 80, leaving behind a legacy as both beloved and controversial. Who is your favorite character in MacGyver? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.